Welcome back. Now, the ANC says members seeking to run campaigns ahead of the December elective conference will be required to submit their financial records. These financials will need to be submitted to the party's electoral committee by no later than this month. For more on this, we are now joined by political commentator Rebone Tau. Rebone, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Now, during an ANC briefing today, spokesperson Bulimabi stated that they had extended the sitting of BGMs, and this is the last weekend of those sittings. It seems like it's all systems go for the 55th elective conference since they've passed the 70% threshold.
Good evening, Katlach, and good evening to the viewers at home. No, absolutely. I mean, the deadline is on the 7th of November, which is a Monday, if I'm not wrong, for the deadline for all the BGMs to have set. But obviously, when you look at the stats from the different provinces, you can see that all is in order in terms of the required number for this conference of the ANC to sit.
Certainly. Now, one of the things that came out of this briefing today was the new rules. The former president, Kgalema Motlanthe, has written to all party members who want to be elected to the National Executive Committee to provide declarations on the financial records of their campaigns. Could this be viewed as a step in the right direction for the party?
There's two things. We can say that, but also you must remember that now, when you are saying members must declare everything, the campaigns manager, the fundraising team, I'm also still trying to understand even the duration that what they will be looking into these accounts from when up to when, you know, because sometimes you have people who knew a long time ago that they will be running for this conference, and probably they might have been fundraising before the nomination process had started. So I'm not sure if they will want them to submit to them from the time when the nomination process was open. And also we know that I mean, for an example, if you go to the Zondo Commission, you had things like Bosasa, you know, where money was going to be collected hard cash, you know. So those are some of the things that it will not be easy for them to really have a clear and transparent accountability in terms of how much the candidates would have used or how much the candidates would have fundraised. If some of the transactions you find that there might be possibilities that not everything was done through a bank transfer, some might have been cash, you know. So those are some of the things.
And I think that was going to be my next question with regards to how were they going to regulate this. I mean, because the ANC as an institution discourages people from campaigning on their own and rather asking for nominations to come from branches. So how rife is this change in that tradition that they've then had to institute such rules?
I think one of the things is that we know that money has been used in ANC processes, not about only this conference, you know. We can go even to the previous conference. We know that even up to now, the CR17 files have been sealed, you know, but we don't know about the other candidates who were running in 2017, you know, where they got their money and so forth for their campaign. So it's just about, I think, formalizing it, you know. But I think, as I'm saying, that there needs to be some improvements on how going to probably the next conference where lessons can be learned from this process, you know. But it is probably in the step direction, but having improvements there and there, because they need to, I think through this, they are accepting that money plays a big role in the ANC elections.
Speaking of that, Rebone, I mean, the donor and contributor related transparency relationship also creates sort of a campaign financing maze. Will this deter potential funders in putting in money if this now has to be disclosed?
No, absolutely. This will make it very difficult because some people obviously do not want to be known, you know, and I think that's why even the CR17 files accounts are sealed, because probably some of the donors don't want to be known that they were funding President Ramaphosa in 2017. So that really puts it's a catch-22 situation, you know. So I think the ANC will really have to really go deep and see how they can make sure that there is the transparency. but also, as I'm saying, there also needs to be a cap, in terms of how much can one use, because it's not clear. Because someone can be lucky and be able to fundraise, I'm saying maybe 500 million. Someone can fundraise 50,000, So those are some of the things. Then it disadvantages the person who was able to get 50,000, and the one with 500 million is able to get a seat at the table. So these are some of the things that I think the electoral committee will have to look into, also going to, and it must not only end with the National Executive Committee, but also in provinces and regions, because money is used in all structures of the ANC.
Most certainly. I mean, one of the other rules that the ANC has highlighted today is the clamping down on party members who engage in negative campaigning and discrediting their opponents. But now the rule goes as far as saying that the candidate who could possibly face disqualification if their supporters are encouraging this negative campaigning and they're not seen to put in enough effort to deter those supporters. Would this be possible?
It will be very difficult, but the ANC have to do this. It's for the sake of the organization, the organizational disciplines that it lacks. Because those are people who say they are comrade in arms, So you can't have a candidate who's been put down by another faction, where's the comradeship, Because a conference of the ANC, it's an event, an event that comes every 5 years for the National Executive Committee, So beyond that, and that's why they will say within the ANC that after conference, all factions must be dismantled, So it's very important how they relate to each other during the campaigning season.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. That was political commentator Rebone Tau giving us some feedback with regards to the media briefing held earlier today.